Hi guys, this is Phil from Connects Health with our first instalment of Connects Health TV. We're going to be talking about resolutions today, and here to help me is Connects Health Director Extraordinaire, David Williams.
Director of Stationery.
Yep, it's a very, very important role.
That's why we don't have any.
Welcome to our show.
Oh, our show, thank
Yeah.
you. It's great to be here.
I'm feeling generous this morning. Okay, so jump straight in. Resolutions, have you made any? 2019?
2019, no.
No.
And if I did, they were lost in a drunken haze.
Yep.
Drunk responsibly.
Like most people.
Yeah.
So why haven't you made any?
I prefer to make goals instead.
What's your issue with resolutions?
Resolutions to me get wrapped up so much in the festive season that they are either washed away by the partying, or it's so lofty of a goal and so far in the future with no plan to get you there that it just, once it comes time to around this time of year when you actually need to work on it, you got to start doing it. It's the results so far in the future that's the future's problem. Like I got all year to do it. That's future Dave's problem.
Yes, and then future Dave never gets there. We've written about this before. One of our articles is time inconsistency.
Yep.
Exactly like you said, the benefits are way off in the future, but the hard work has to be now. And there's a theory, future self-continuity hypothesis. Don't say it fast.
No, I can't say it once.
It says that your future self is so far off that it's actually a stranger to you. So why would we do things now that are going to benefit a stranger? Someone that we don't really know, someone that we can't put ourselves in the shoes of.
So future Dave is a stranger?
Yes, future Dave is a stranger.
Oh, stuff future
and
Dave.
it's why present Dave has a shits with past Dave, because he didn't plan for future Dave.
Yeah, right.
That's 100% it.
Oh, well.
So resolutions, no, not really. They're ideas more than an actual plan.
Yeah,
so goals?
Goals, I prefer to make more goals because you actually are actioning a plan. So you have your big target, even if it is the big one at the end of the year, but then you break it down into 3 pillars, if you will, 4 pillars. And then you break those down into tasks and actions so you can actually start from day dot and work all the way up from there.
And we're all taught how to make goals, specifically, especially in the fitness industry. We're taught SMART goals.
Yep.
So S.M.A.R.T, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-oriented.
Yep.
One of the reasons I've got you on here is to talk about your footy career. And I want to...
Not.
God, no. Lord, no. Okay, moving on from that.
I'm cutting you
tell
out
me
of this
how
shot.
Tell me how the SMART goals related to your breakout year, 2008.
So coming into Manly from Parramatta, my goals were very different to how they would be played out after, but just because it was go for broke kind of thing.
Yep.
Come from injury, got a lifeline to play for Manly. Everything was go for broke. So I was just like, what the hell? There was no real goals. It was literally just give it everything. But then if you talk, like when you get to Manly, so coming into first grade and having not been a part of a full-time squad like that before, you've got what's called KPIs, so your key performance indicators.
And they would have been set out.
They were set.
SMART.
They were set for you. So I didn't set them personally.
Yeah.
They set them, and they were set out SMART in the SMART aspect. So you had your specific side of things was your position or the target you needed to hit. So wingers need to be able to run 32 kilometers an hour.
And those are minimum standards, or that's what it takes to create a successful win?
That was the target. So having come in no data, I had no data, or they had no data on me beforehand. So that was just the comparison, what you should be able to get to. If you can't get there, then like why are you a winger per se, unless you've obviously got other stuff to offer. But
pick a different position.
Yeah, exactly right, or different career, which should have done a long time ago. So that's the specific side, and then obviously that's different to other positions. Yeah. And then when you get more data, your number changes, and then it's specific to you. Yeah, exactly right. So then you've got like that kind of stuff, and that works for weights, reps, other indicators as well in different testing fields. Yeah. So then the measurable side of it is obviously the number.
Yeah, so it's a finite number.
A finite number. You know where you need to get to. You know what you need to, even when you're comparing it to yourself or to the rest of the league. And then your achievable is,
can you do it? If you can't.
Can you do it? Yep, see you later. Yep. Otherwise, you're playing Reggies and they're building you back up to get to where you need to be at that performance level that warrants you.
And they're not setting you 40 k's an hour. They're not setting you Usain Bolt just because that's
No, definitely not. They know what everyone can get to. Like I think the top at the time was, Josh Morris was cracking 36 k's an hour. So that was there. But if you are, and you've got, well, here's the thing, you had a forward who was running 32, so your backs definitely should be able to. So that's how, you know what I mean? Like they worked it out that way, and there was so much data to work it on anyway.
Were they all relevant? Obviously, they probably would be all relevant to you.
They were all relevant into that position.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, you obviously had to run fast being a winger. Had to be able to catch, couldn't do that. Had to be able to tackle, couldn't do that. Geez, I don't know why I was there.
Because you could run fast.
Yeah, I thought it was the good looks.
Well, there.
So yeah, it was relevant to your position, what you needed to do to perform on a field and against other teams, because that's why you were there.
And time oriented, you had to hit it by a certain.
Yeah. So pre-season had time wise there, and even in games, you had to hit stuff by the end of the game.
Yep.
So if you're talking about your KPIs of, say it's 10 runs, 100 meters for the game, you had to hit them by the end of the game. So there's your time limit. So there's always a time cap on anything, and even throughout the whole season. So if we're talking like team-wise, you needed to get a certain number of games by the end of your season, otherwise you're not in the finals, and then it goes from there. So yeah, time orientated was always a part of it.
And you had these from 2008 through to 2012.
Yes.
Okay, so your goals, some of your goals are hitting, some of your goals you're not.
Definitely not the injury-free
Not the injury-free one.
Getting back on the park.
And that's the one I want to talk about in a little bit. So let's talk about the problems that we have with SMART goals. Why are SMART goals dumb? First of all, not everybody has a template. A 32 kilometres an hour I have to hit.
They don't have the data.
Exactly, they don't have the data. So the specificity of it is the very issue with it.
Yeah.
It's a guess. I want to lose 10 kilos. Okay, why?
Yeah.
Is that too much?
Yeah.
Is it too little?
Unless you're a
Why
weighted
do you want to
athlete.
hit that? Yeah. I want to save $10,000. Are you saving $10,000 for something, or do you just want to save as much money as possible? The specificity, I think, of the traditional SMART goals is a huge limiting factor. It's arbitrary. It's a guess. It's a random guess. That's one of my main problems with it. Obviously, with stuff like you have to hit a certain thing to be a winger. You have to run this fast. You have to jump this high.
Not everyone has GPS recording systems.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly right. As well, I think they limit progress in terms of you're given this. And tell me about, in relation to you, 32 kilometres an hour. Did you hit that and then go, sweet, I've hit 32 Ks, I'm a winger, done? Or did you want to exceed that?
A few people would have done that, Jamie Lyon especially. Did as minimal as possible. Hey, Killer, how you doing?
I got no problem with you, Jamie.
No, but so we had, in that environment, even Jamie as well, you'd have that competitive nature.
Yeah.
So you had a team around you and you wanted just to beat them. It was just that competitive nature. It's why we're playing rugby league. It's the whole, all of that world. So you hit 32. You go, yeah, sweet, no worries. But the guy, like Jamie's 10 metres ahead when he should be right next to you. And you're like, shit, all right, I've got to pick it up and I've got to get to that level. Even if you didn't need to in your position, for us anyway, like you're just like, hey, I want to be the fastest
You want
one.
to go
Yeah,
fast,
if you're the fastest one here, that's a
Which
target
that's your competitive nature, and you're surrounded by other elite athletes, and you all want to be one of each other.
one up each other. Yeah.
In terms of when it's in the gym, were you given like a specific amount of reps to do? Like here you have to do 10 reps, and then you get to your 10 reps, and you're like, sweet, those are my 10 reps.
Yeah. So we had 1 rep maxes and stuff like that, which is a bit different because that's weight orientated. But that would be the same as well. So you got to get to here, and like that would be different for the forwards. For us, that was it. So if you could hit 100 kilos or whatever it was, yes, I don't need to do that. Yeah. But for the forwards, then they would try to one up each other there. So that's like it just changes. Yeah. So they wouldn't care about the speed, and we wouldn't care so much about how much we could bench, and then swap over. Yeah. So that's where that would relate there.
And that's my second problem with the SMART goals. They limit progress. So you're given this target, you hit this target, and unless you're a very competitive person that wants to push past it, you go, okay, I've hit my target, I'm done. Yeah. That might not be, that's a ceiling, that might not be your capability.
Well, that'd be the same for the money thing, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. My goal is to save $200 a week. Yeah. I've put $200 a week away, now I'm just going to blow the rest. Yeah. When really you could be saving $250, $300. Yeah. Okay. So the next one is goals often neglect the process. Now, you know this about me. I'm all about process. Worry about the input.
Especially with grooming.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
you got to change the process.
I know. You're not the first person to tell me that, actually. So you focus on the result. Yeah. And you neglect the process. Now, I think it's different in your case in terms of a professional outfit. But often we go, okay, I want to save $10,000. I want to be a millionaire. But we don't worry about the process, the day-to-day things that need to go into it.
Well, it's like the New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
You're worrying about the target at the end. There's
Exactly.
no plan in place, no process to get there.
Exactly. And we're so worried about what's going to happen. I mean, it even happens in football games. Okay, we know the stats are telling us we need to score 24 points to outscore Melbourne. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
Yeah, exactly right.
So
Play
focus
by play.
on your process, scoreboard takes care of itself.
Yeah. So play by play.
Yeah, exactly. One of my biggest problems with goals is they're almost all failure. So here's your goal, and it's not achieved until it's either achieved or not. So you've got, I'm not there, I'm not there, I'm not there, not there, pass or fail.
So the not there part is all the fail part.
Yeah,
So
basically.
yeah.
It's almost all failure until you finally get there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't get there, so
Yeah.
then it's all failure.
The whole thing's a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, so in terms of a grand final, that's your goal, obviously. Every
Yeah.
rugby league player wants to win a grand final.
Yeah.
If you don't win that grand final, is everything else a fail?
Yeah, it would have been that way if we lost in 2008 because the team, and I wasn't a part of it, but the team made the grand final, the grand finals the year before, lost to Melbourne. So then that was now the new benchmark.
You got a little bit of revenge in 2008.
Oh, yeah.
40 nil, 50 nil?
I can't remember, mate.
It was one of those.
We got pumped the year after,
Yeah,
40
well.
to 8, so I remember that one. Knocked out first round of the final.
We'll skip past
Yeah, just brush that year. So if the team if their team didn't make the grand final, that would have been seen as a failure. Like, how did we get there the year before and we didn't progress? So,
Actually, you mentioned 2009, so 2009 would have been seen as a failure.
Yeah, I reckon it was 100% because we got knocked out round one. Like, we made the top four, so that was always a goal, top four minimum, that kind of stuff. And then just the way the structure was back then is that other results. We left our fate to results of other teams, which you should never do anyway. But we got knocked out round one, which can't happen anymore. So that definitely was a failure. Like,
okay, but yeah, that's one of my biggest issues with it. You've got this pass or fail grade. Did I hit my goal or did I not? And it's pass or fail. And everything leading up to it, you obviously haven't hit your goal because you're not there yet. And then you might lose it, you might win it. So goals, I think, in the way that they're set up now, they're set up for failure. They're almost all failure and a brief period of success.
yeah.
Don't worry, we're going to teach you how to fix this later. It's not all doom and gloom.
It's not just our pretty selves, are
And I also think they're not built for long-term success. So for you guys, basically the goal was win a grand final.
Yep.
Every year. And were the years segmented? Like 2011, win a grand final. If you do or you don't, that year's scrapped, move to 2012.
Yes.
Okay. That's another one of my issues with it. They're so segmented that we don't really plan for the future with them.
Yeah. That wouldn't, that kind of worked that way, just the way rugby league works, because you got the year, and then from a player's perspective, you might be under a year contract, 2-year contract. You'll never keep the same roster the year after.
Yeah.
So, and then you're working so much up to this result, pass, fail, like you said, then everything resets.
Yeah.
Resets both.
Rather than sort of using that as a stepping stone and sort of
and then carrying on to the next one, because like you'd have players leaving. Blokes didn't know if they were going to get picked up again. My contracts were only like 2 years, so I ended up playing for a contract like 3 times through my career, especially with injury. That didn't help, but
and that's always got to be on
always
your
in the
mind.
back of your head, 100%. And then so you just focus on the year because no one's going to care what happens week one of pre-season when you're still in the middle of the season that you're currently playing.
Yeah.
So. And then the rest of it, like who cares about grand finals a couple of years ahead? Like you might have a structure to plan for a team, but no one else is focusing on that, especially as a player. As a player, you're in that year, that's it. And even like week to week, it still becomes like you can isolate it down just to the week. Yeah. Play for that game, and then that's it.
Yeah, I think that's often the way it is. It's just they're not designed for long-term success. They're designed for short bouts of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like a marathon run, well, a person wanting to complete a marathon.
Yep.
They set themselves a goal of running a marathon. They run that marathon, sweet, on the beers straight after, and the training goes out the window because they've achieved that goal, and now it's time to kick back. Like an off-season, I guess.
Like a footballer, yeah.
Yeah.
Like after games.
I remember a couple of
the
off-seasons.
Eating pizza after the games.
Yeah, not great. So yeah, we achieve the goal, then we sort of just relax. after it because, yep, sweet, goal achieved,
Yep.
done. So in that way, I think they're not built for long-term success. My last issue, my last condensable bullet point issue with SMART goals, I got millions of them, don't worry.
He's a waffler.
I am a waffler. Waffling right now. Is that they limit your happiness to the achievement of that goal.
Yeah.
So you set yourself a goal and you get there, you're happy for a brief period because you've achieved it, or you're not happy because you haven't achieved it. How much of your happiness was tied up into the achievement of your goals?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I remember playing games where I would play terribly, or I had a bad game, the team would win, and I'd still be filthy. So that's my own performance part. So and it was the same with Origin. Like, made Origin, like that was supposed to be the goal. It's what you grow up as a kid wanting to play.
Yeah.
And then the result of that game, or the result of my performance, it just wiped all that away. Yeah, and it didn't matter if I made Origin. I was filthy at it till probably about a year ago when I started to look at it differently. So, for the happiness side, for me personally, 100%, it was wrapped up into everything.
And we're also going to talk about how to fix that.
Oh,
process.
beautiful.
Process. Love the process and you'll be happy all the time. So that's 2008 and 2012. We're doing the SMART goals. Sometimes they're working, sometimes they're not. 2013 was your breakout year in terms of how you were physically. You were faster, stronger, fitter than you'd ever been before.
Yep.
So what were you doing differently there? Run me through that.
So that all started in January of that year when I got introduced to a trainer, Sean Carolyn, by my manager. And coming off the last 3 seasons it was all injury. Played probably about 50%, maybe even less of what I could potentially have played. And then this year 13 was my last year of the contract. So it was actually an option too. So I was very lucky I had that.
Yep.
Otherwise I would have been shafted for sure. So then it was all go for broke. And then I got introduced to this guy. He completely changed my philosophy on nutrition, training and mindset wrapped around my football performances.
Yep. Okay. And inadvertently you were doing the exact process that we'd probably structure our goals on.
Yeah, looking back 100%.
Yeah, which is really cool, and it actually fits really well. That's why we're doing a video.
Oh, fancy that!
I know.
Yeah.
Shocking. What a coincidence. So
like we didn't have to pay for someone.
Yeah, free is good. So instead of you didn't set any specific goals that year.
We started it was funny. We started the conversation that night. He goes, "What do you want? What do you want out of this? Like, what do you want from me?" And I said, "I'd love to be injury free." He goes, "Sweat, retire." He goes, "Don't play football."
Yeah.
No. Injury
You
free.
don't want to lose, don't play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
100%.
So then, we finally broke it down and we came up with the goal. I told him exactly what I wanted. I wanted to find out after like 2008 being really the only successful year I had out of 5.
Yeah.
I wanted to find out not only to get there, but what I could do. So I wanted to play and do everything the way I know I could have.
Yep.
So the end goal or the big target was be the best you could be, corny as it is, just fitter, faster, stronger, and just like this is it. I want to find out what I'm physically capable of, so then I can put that into my performances and go from there.
So not putting a number on it because you had no idea what that number was.
No, absolutely.
It would have just been a guess.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It would have been a guess, and then we're like, even with the training side of things, we didn't even in the process, so we didn't count numbers either. So there was nothing there to compare it to, because we had no data, same way as from before.
Okay, so we've got our direction now. All that extra training. I mean, you're going in training nights after professional football training, elite professional football training.
Correct.
You're going in and doing extras.
Idiocracy.
For a couple of hours every night.
Yeah.
Tell me about the drive, like the motivation. What gets you there at night after you bug it after a day of footy?
So it started out with being just the go for broke. Like, I want to find this, I need this because of, like you dream all your life about being a footballer, playing rugby league, playing NRL, and then it seemed like I just wasted the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So coming into that, it was completely wrapped around the mindset. So we used to, the nutrition side of it, you had raw food. So to get your mind around that, you just had to think of what needs to be done to keep me on that direction.
Yep.
Right. If I haven't done it in the past, so if I've eaten pizzas after games, I've been drinking beers after games or whatever, like that kind of stuff.
And that's not working for me.
That's not working. And the way I look back at it now, the best definition was that's the footballer
Yep.
style. So just to do whatever needs to be done there. I wanted to find out what I could do. So that then became from the footballer to the athletic side, because we both know I'm not a footballer. Can't kick, catch, pass, or run.
No, you can run.
Well, not get injured. Well, there's one. Anyway,
It's just the skills.
yeah, it's just the skills that you can't.
Pesky skills.
Who needs them, right? Anyway, so we focused on the athletic side, and then that became the mindset as well of what would an athlete do. So, footballer didn't eat raw meat. The footballer did his training that he had to do. He might do a little bit of extras outside, but definitely like not the way I was doing it. We completely changed the training structure outside as well. And then that mindset probably helped the most outside of the park. So, away from football, away from training, when, you know, the social side where, you know, you used to like go have a few beers with the boys or you'd have a drink at an event.
Well, that's footy.
That's just lifestyle as well. But if you're an athlete in training, like think of a swimmer, they would never be drinking outside of training or when they're in training. So you identified yourself as the same way. So that was what would an athlete do? Oh, can't drink, I'm in training.
I love that. So it's, like you said, you identify with that. So you move yourself out of footballer mentality into athlete mentality.
Yeah.
And then it just makes it so much easier to make choices because you just think, what would an athlete do?
Correct.
I am now an athlete, so I'll choose accordingly.
Because that's the direction you're going on. So to get there, you need to do that.
I love that. And I think that's really important for everyone in terms of goals. You identify with a person who would be successful at that goal.
Yes, correct.
So it's not, I mean, if someone's goal is, I want to deadlift 200 kilos or I want to deadlift as much as I possibly can, turn yourself into a weightlifter. Don't try and go to the gym 3 times a week. Do what a weightlifter would do. Eat how a weightlifter would eat, train how a weightlifter would train.
Yeah.
So identify with someone who would be successful at your goal. That's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Again, process.
Big process.
Process. Love it. The input. So tell us about the process.
All right, so the process of that obviously broke down everything. Everything was thrown out the window.
Yeah.
So obviously you had the basis that was there from training, so we didn't have to start from scratch. But the food was the big one. So the nutrition side of it, all right, whatever you're doing now is garbage, quite frankly. Do you eat this? Yes, no, don't do it, all that kind of stuff. So basically we started with nutrition was everything, because you needed an athlete would fuel their body to get the results that they needed to. And if I wasn't fueling my body in that way, then obviously I'd have the performances I had previously of how I fueled my body that way.
Yep.
So if you want to go further than you did before, you've got to change that. So that all started with raw food. So 3 weeks, everything raw, nothing cooked.
Yeah.
That's
good.
You love it.
Great.
You love it. You're just thinking about all
raw
of
meat.
it. Yeah. No chicken, it's okay. Settle down. Raw food completely. 3 weeks, that was the detox. And then that carried all the way throughout. So the whole diet changed, even pre-game meals. It's funny, it was like 30 pancakes.
30 pancakes?
30 pancakes before each meal. And it wasn't a normal pancake from Macca's or whatever.
Before each meal? Before each game?
Before each game.
Yeah, Jesus. Entree served, sir.
Yeah.
30 friggin' pancakes.
30 pancakes. Yeah, so 3 meals leading up to the game. So your night before, morning of, and if you're playing at night, you'd have them at lunch. That was it.
And that's what you'd focus on. Like you're not saying, okay, I've got to do this to play a good game. It's do this. This is what.
Fuel yourself this way. This has to be done, and then the rest would take care of itself. So if you did this, then you'd have the fuel to do the next thing, and that would be the next step and stuff like that. So the nutrition came first. The training was the next one with, the extra training, obviously, but the training style changed completely.
Yeah.
So we didn't count anything. We just lifted as much as we could for however long we could. If you were there for 5 minutes, then obviously that's too light. Go for another one. And then the style changed as well. So we introduced spinning, endless jumping, walking on your hands, handstand walks, push-ups, stuff like that, hanging upside down, balance on med balls, walking on med balls, changing between everything. So the changing style was completely different as well. And the going through all that and progressing through all that then became that process. Do you know what I mean? So that was your day-to-day. To then get your end goal of, an athlete would be able to do that, or they'd be able to do that. And if you fueled yourself, this is what you need to do now. So that was the day-to-day going through all that to get to the game.
Just focusing on each day.
Each day. So each day was get the best nutrition you could. Because the raw food side is literally, you pick an apple off a tree, that's at its best. It's going to decline if you sit it on the table or you cook it or you process it in any other way. Same thing with the rest of the food. So you get the best you can. all right, and what's available to you. And then, so once that's done, then you train the best you can and the most you can do, because you're trying to be the best you can be. So why would you pull short of that? Which means depleting your muscles.
Yep.
Yeah, you know.
Just being the best you can that day.
Exactly right. Like doing as many as you can. If you can't lift anymore, then that's it. That's as much as as you can do.
That's what I love. Just getting the input right each day. Every day you put in what you need to put in.
Yep.
And then everything else will take care of itself.
Yes.
Process.
Huge process guy.
And that's with any goal. That's with absolutely anything. Just put in all the things, all the ingredients that you need to put in, and then what you get is what you get.
Yeah.
Just do your absolute best.
And that's
in that process.
and that's
And
still
the output.
progress. Yeah.
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 Focus on the input, the output will take care of itself. Process. So, how did you, I mean, you said you weren't really counting reps, weren't counting weights. How were you judging your progress? How are you measuring that?
So, well, one way with the training, look, the nutrition side first, when we started with the raw food, the detox, you get headaches for 4 days.
Yeah.
And that was the sugar, not addiction, but that sugar reliance leaving. So obviously when you don't get the headaches anymore, that's progression. All right, you got through that stage.
Milestone. Boom.
When everything gets a little bit easier that way. Same with the training. The first week, maybe 2. So we trained in a gym that was in a basement in the city. And for the first 2 weeks, I literally had to crawl up the stairs because you couldn't move your legs. So there would be...
So you know you're doing it right.
Yeah, exactly right. Completely depleting yourself. Yeah. Crawling up the stairs out into King Street, George Street, trying to walk from there looking like an idiot. But then obviously you're able to do it a bit better next time. You can actually walk out like a normal human.
Yep.
Yeah. Progress, exactly right. And then things would get easier in the same way. You'd be able to, with the spinning side, couldn't spin one way initially, and then you'd be able to spin that way. And then you try something else harder, and then you couldn't do that, but then you could.
Yep.
So the progression was tied into things getting easier or being able to do stuff. And the same with games, talking about the injury side. Get through a game, progress, done, ticked. Next game, and then by the time you get to 10 games, you look back and you're like, 10 games in, haven't missed one, beauty.
I love that too. Like, it's running the city to surf. Got your headphones in, head down, you look up, shit, that's 8K.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's your milestone. So for you, they were kind of like retrospective milestones, like you hit it and then go, oh, here we are.
Yeah, kind of surprise ones where like we just kept working through the process, like you said, and then you'd find that process would look after the milestones. And because you weren't set, like you'd set some, which will obviously set injury free. Yeah. And then we just get to there and we do that and then go for the next one, the next one. But it'll still, do you know what I mean? Incremental. Yeah.
And I think that's so important. That's how we get around the fact that goals aren't built for long-term success. We set ourselves milestones.
Yeah.
So like we use the analogy of the marathon runner. If you set your goal as running a marathon, you get there and then, sweet, done it, let's kick back.
Now what?
Whereas if you identify as a marathon runner, then your first marathon is a milestone.
That's the milestone.
On the road of being a marathon runner.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
Sweet, I've done my first marathon. Okay, now I'm going to go do the Gold Coast one.
Yeah.
And I want to do it sub 4.5.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be. We set ourselves milestones rather than just an end goal.
So in footy, it would be the same way. Don't worry about the grand final. Win the next game.
Yeah.
Win the next game.
Every game is a milestone on the path to being a footballer.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's how we get around that. Sweet, done. We are ticking along. Obviously, with anything, consistency is key. And obviously that would have been the same for you. Like,
100%.
Do you ever miss sessions?
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not. I mean, if you weren't doing a session, it was planned.
Yep.
So it was recovery or travel and all that kind of stuff. If you're talking about the food, definitely not.
Yeah.
We had a down period during a bye. He said, you got 4 days off, bugger off. I don't want to see you. I want you to get away from football, get away from everything. Yeah. Go away, do whatever you want. And that was part of the plan. So still not missing a day technically.
Even when you're missing, you're not missing.
Exactly right. And so the food all the way through didn't miss.
Yeah.
So you're eating raw food. You just eat the raw food. And if you're doing
that's what an athlete would do.
Exactly right. And if you're doing anything less than that, then you know that where you need to be, you're obviously just drop down a step from what you want because you're just lessening the direction you're going in that end target to how you're acting during that day and what you're going through with your process.
Yeah, and that's the research is backing that up. Like to create a new habit, The key is consistency. And it actually doesn't matter too much to the overall goal if we miss. So say if you had eaten a cheeseburger, if you had skipped one leg day, never skip leg day. But it wouldn't have mattered too much as long as you don't consistently miss.
Yeah.
So don't miss twice.
Well, that was, don't miss twice was one. It was a good one as well because that came up with travel. So you'd be in New Zealand or whatever and you'd have to have a travel day. Couldn't train that day, couldn't recover that day just because of timing. So like talking to my trainer and that, and you just go, well, all right, get in here tomorrow. Yeah. Because I don't care what you're doing, just get in here. You have to do this because of the travel screwed everything. And you're leading into next week this way. So yeah, that definitely, consistency was a massive.
Never
one.
missed twice.
No.
Beautiful.
Except when catching or passing. Or kicking.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's what a footballer would do that. No, not naturally.
So, so to sum those up, we're kicking the SMART goals away, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've got rid of them.
Yeah.
SMART goals are done.
Yeah.
Catchy title. Let's use
Look
that
at
one.
you.
So basically, we're setting a direction, not a specific goal.
Yep, 100%.
We're identifying with someone who would be successful in that pursuit.
Be the person that you want to be at the end.
Exactly, and make the choices that that person would make. Process, focusing on process. It is all about the input because nothing else matters. It's all the input.
Exactly right.
Setting yourself milestones rather than end achievements. So milestones along the way and appreciating the milestones you get to, even when they're surprise ones.
Well, yeah, exactly right. So that's probably what I did more than setting them. But at least we had a big one to play every game, so that was still a milestone.
Yeah, each game is a milestone.
Exactly right.
Consistency, never miss twice, super important. I want to add another one, which is pretty important to everyone, yourself included.
Everyone?
I think would be everyone in the room. Is to show a bit of self-kindness. So we talked about it before, how much of your happiness was tied up into the achievement or the failure of those goals. Looking back now, would you have been a little bit kinder to yourself maybe when you didn't perform or didn't hit your goals?
Right now, probably not because I'm still working on that one. Yeah. But I can definitely see how it would have helped because speaking about the origin thing, I was so wrapped up in the performance of it and how I played, which wasn't up to scratch for my opinion, and probably everyone else's, that it completely destroyed the achievement of playing Origin. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm still working.
Which is sad. That makes me sad.
Exactly right. When that should have really been a building block to the rest of my career. Yeah. Just played Origin. You've got every jersey that you can get. Now, stay there. Or play to that level, which I definitely didn't, and the injuries showed later on with that, which didn't help as well. But the football performance wasn't up to that scratch. So
deploying a bit of self-kindness in that situation would have helped you use that.
I would have looked at it that way. I would have looked at it as if, all right, so you didn't play well. Let's play better next week because now you just made Origin. That's the new benchmark or whatever. So now you've got to get better or stay there and play next year. Make these more teams. You've made everything, make them again. Yeah. So so looking at it that way would have put me in that mindset, which definitely would have helped 100%.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that's so important. Like deploying a little bit of self-kindness can turn something that you're afraid to think about into something that's really a fuel for you. That's something to look back on and learn from.
Yes,
rather
exactly
than
right.
being scared to actually think about it because it's just this horrible thing in your mind.
Focusing on the bad when you could learn from it and turn it into good.
Yeah, bit of self-kindness.
Keep saying it.
Yeah.
It was sinking once, maybe twice.
It's a process.
It's a process. There we go.
So we've got direction, identify, process, milestones, consistency, self-kindness. So I guess all we're left with now is to tie it up into a neat little sexy acronym like SMART goals, which I reckon they were just unbelievably lucky with.
Lucky?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Lucky. That's
Because
all lucky.
you're completely unlucky with what's about to happen.
No, this is the best.
Yeah.
So we've got direction, identity, process, milestones, consistency, self-kindness.
God.
DIPMCS.
I can't even say it.
You don't have to say it. I'll say it enough for both of us.
Oh,
DIPMCS.
please don't.
That's the way forward.
So do I have to go trademark this or what?
No.
No
one's going to
no one wants
No,
this.
no.
No one wants DIPMCS.
Like, no, it's available? Really? Let's take it. No, That's all ours, I reckon.
Oh, God.
So look on your local bus benches for DIPMCS.
It'll be everywhere. Textbooks coming at you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
it's the way forward.
Let's get out of that.
So what we're saying, guys, we're not saying that SMART goals are redundant. They work for some people. They've worked for a long time. What we are saying is this is another way to look at it. There are limiting factors to any sort of theory. And we think, I mean, SMART goals don't really work for us. They haven't worked in the past. So we needed to develop something new. Give it a try. If SMART goals aren't working for you, give DIPMCS a try.
You don't have to say it out loud or in public. That's fine. Just keep it within.
Absolutely. Yeah. But give it a try and let us know how you went. Let us know in the comments. Any questions, fire them away because we're always happy to help.
And if you like this video and want to see more of it, please let us know. And even the health topics you want to hear about, because we want to do more of this. Just definitely not about DIPMCS. And so we can improve our health, improve everyone's health, and keep learning about how to improve ourselves along the way. And yeah.
All right.
Thanks for allowing me to be on our show, Phil. And
you're very welcome. It's not going to happen every week. So.
Okay, thanks. Okay. So obviously didn't do too well.
You're all right. Back to work.
What?
Yep. Let's go.
Such a shit boss. Where's the stationery?
I can't pretend to get up there as well. Because I just figured
because you are not boss. You don't do any work, do you? He does no work at all.
Well, I just figured we'd cut it there. I'm going to watch a cricket.